I started Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu around 1978, 1979. I was pretty much 14, 15 years old on that time. Well, early days it wasn't much different, I guess. Jiu-Jitsu probably changed it for a lot of people, but for those who've been doing Jiu-Jitsu for a long time, uh, it did not change in the sense that, the way I approach my life, my lifestyle in Jiu-Jitsu, it is the same as was before. I keep training as as much as I could, not as hard as I did before because the youth and all of that kind of stuff. But early days it wasn't much different except there was way less schools. They were very limited to the city that I was grew up, which was Rio de Janeiro. There wasn't even in Brazil anywhere except Rio. And inside Rio de Janeiro also wasn't very well spread out. It was pretty much um, in a few neighborhoods like Copacabana, where we all came from, right? And my first school, it was this friend of mine that took me to Osvaldo Alves, which is a very well-known guy in Brazil. He used to train under Helio Gracie. He's a very good judo prof teacher as well, and that's when I got a lot of my good idea about judo and some basics of jiu-jitsu. Spent a year and a half training over there, and then from there I was brought up to another friend from the same neighborhood to try a class at Carlson Gracie. That's when I met the Gracies. I met Carlson, and he was a super nice guy with me until he passed away. I got all my very good memories of Master Carlson Gracie, and he helped me a lot. From there, I met his cousin, Rickson Gracie. I was friends with Euler because of surfing for quite a while before I met Rickson, but one day I also met Rickson surfing as well, and we got connected. He invited me to come and train at his school. I had a lot of curiosity because of Rickson Gracie and all of that. And well, that's when I really make my choice of moving to Rickson, and from there on, I think I found my home, my teacher, my place, and it's been fun. From there, I train really hard all the way to the purple belt. I've done several tournaments back before that, and when I reached to the purple belt level, I was really good friends with Rickson, and I got very lucky. Out of like all this 200, I don't know how many students he had at the school, I was the lucky one that got invited to come over to him and help his brothers out here, and that's how pretty much we start jiu-jitsu in America. That's how I start my life in America. So it has been 18 years since I arrived at here, got to the brown belt level here. I pay my dues as a brown belt. And finally, 95, I was rewarded with my black belt from Rickson Gracie. So I'm pretty proud and pleased of all this time that I've been absent from Brazil, and I think it's been a very surprising ride. I left Brazil to spend 1 year only outside Brazil, and well, it has been 18. I never came back, never anymore, and I miss Brazil. I got a lot of friends, but I'm happy to see how jiu-jitsu actually turned out. It's very much around this side of the world right now. Actually, it's all over the world, huh? But 18 years ago, I was the lucky one that pretty much know jiu-jitsu from the garage, like we say, like too, Jose, from the garage days. when Half was a blue belt, when I was a purple belt, when I used to assist Rickson and Hordion and Royce and the Machados came afterwards. So it has been a ride, and I'm glad to see the response of the public and the world to this matter. I train really hard. I enjoy training jiu-jitsu until this day a lot. But I always understood my role in the world of jiu-jitsu, what God wanted me to do. I wasn't really never an exceptional fighter. I can judge, and I can consider myself one average fighter. I fought but average fighter for me in my sport, it means that until this day, I never got in trouble, I never got hit, I never got in fights much. I pretty much, this average was, as long as I could defend myself and my family, that was enough to me. But on the other hand, I think I was bred and drilled and beat and to be a teacher. I think that's my destiny. That's how I see myself, and I think I am succeeding on this matter because basically my training, like I said, it's happening. I'm still training. I'm happy that my training led me to the last 4 years to win the Pan American, the 4 years in a row, and I'm about to compete in 2 days. And hopefully I can win for the 5th year in a row. So it's okay for a mediocre kind of like fighter or like an average fighter. I would be happy if I leave. If I retire today, which I'm not talking about retired, I pretty much put it in my mind that I will retire in 3 years when my son will turn 16 and he will take over. That's when I'll bring him over for his first Pan American. So let's see what's happening in 3 years.
I mean, with that sleeve control, and you try to pass here. I think you forgot. It's not like it's not who's gonna have a better grip here. This guy can never have one of your hands. I keep telling you that. You guys keep battling, passing here. Bro, the problem here is, boom, release one and access your passing. Everybody like pass. This is not a trade here. And we've been doing this for 2 days, 3 days. The third one is the hardest one because you guys are here. But when you get, you cannot allow this guy open his knees. You have to close the switch the grip here. Knees on the ground, very hard. This is not a position for knee on the ground. I told you, this is a position for shoulder on the ground, and hip up and then. No one will be done for 2-3 days. This is important.
Oh, I think that Jiu-Jitsu is the reason why MMA, sort of speak, is in this huge demand right now. Before MMA came out, we take the kimono out of the garage on summer days. On hot days, all we do is to take the kimono off and kind of like slap each other around. So in a sort of way, this whole idea of MMA, it was created to show the world how superior 10, 12 years ago, whatever it was, 15 years ago, how superior Jiu-Jitsu was compared to other, with all the respect, compared to other martial arts. In any other way, I'm going to disrespect any martial art here. But like I just said, I'm 100% believer in Jiu-Jitsu. So I believe of my fighters when they want to fight on the ring, I pretty much I advise them to learn as much as Jiu-Jitsu as possible, and that way they're gonna understand that the idea of jiu-jitsu is to finish the fight harmless with the most in the most efficient way. And I think jiu-jitsu is the only martial arts style that allows you to finish the fight without really making blood, making people suffer in a very efficient way, because jiu-jitsu, the real jiu-jitsu, is based in leverage.
Just be careful and be focused for the next couple of months. So it was a good week of training. I'll see you tomorrow. Good job.
So I have a completely, absolutely passion on teaching jiu-jitsu, you know. It doesn't matter who it is. It's older people, young people, special people, needed people. I've been teaching everybody. So to me, it doesn't matter. All I see is joy. It's the reward that I see, the outcome of jiu-jitsu in their life. That's my reward. Just keep going with a little bit of the history. So I work in LA with Rickson for 13 years, and there is no words to describe how much he means to me, how lucky I am to know that man, how lucky I was to see his career as a jiu-jitsu fighter, as a jiu-jitsu instructor, as a fighter as well. So Rickson Gracie is the son of the man. I'm a very blessed person. I hit the lottery. I have a great family. I have an amazing wife with 2 beautiful kids. I live in the most beautiful place on the planet, and I have a school that I built out of a garage, actually. You know, I'm not feared to. I never had fear to start it. I always believe in jiu-jitsu. So when I moved to Maui, it was pretty much the same situation when I moved to LA. I started at a garage 5 years ago, and today, exactly 5 years later, I have a school with almost 3,000 square feet and a little bit over 200 students. That has a lot to do with my choices, you know. Choices of doing jiu-jitsu forever, choices of believing in jiu-jitsu, and the choice of moving to Maui, Hawaii. That was definitely a present from God. So we kind of working together. He gave me Hawaii to live, and I give him a bunch of students so I can help them all out.